Boom shakalaka, the top 3 ways I will know this bull market is over, and 5 others that you may just want to keep your eye out for. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, there's a lot of indecision in the markets. This video, we're going to be going over the top 3 ways I will know the bull market is over, and 5 other ways you might just want to keep your ears tuned to, because if you hear them or see them, well, could be in danger. Now, before we get into it, like the video, join us on Twitter through Crypto Love, and of course, subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel, making daily videos. Not anymore, but making videos since 2017. Now, if we take a look, you can see the market, some people think things are going down. Like if we take a look at this, currently only 24% of circulating supply at an unrealized loss, a relatively low level historically associated with early stage corrections rather than full scale capitulation, saying, hey, we should go down here. If you take a look, is Bitcoin going to pass $200,000? Kind of a coin flip. Nobody freaking knows. Some people betting it's already topped out. And if we take a look just at traditional markets, we can see the 13-week trailing bull-bear spread at atrocious levels reminiscent of major financial upheaval. A lot of people betting against the hardest asset in the history of Earth. Now, if we take a look, I'm going to show you the top 3 ways I will know that the bull run is over, and 5 others to keep your eye out for. Now, this is the daily charts on a log scale. The first one, super simple. This one just relies on the trend. The trend is your friend. Currently, since right here, November of 2022, Bitcoin is in an uptrend. How do we know it's an uptrend? Well, we have higher lows circling all these right here, and we also have higher highs. That, my friends, is an uptrend. Now, as long as this trend continues, Bitcoin would continue to be in an uptrend. In order for it to break, Bitcoin would need it to come and have a lower low, something around this $50,000 area or lower, to invalidate that, or now below this low here, $73,000. And then we might call into question what is happening with Bitcoin. So that is the first way that we would know Bitcoin has topped and the bull market is over. Now, way number 2 is just simple. I think everybody knows this one by now. And this one, while has been insanely reliable, I just question, because everybody knows that this is the best, most reliable indicator for Bitcoin tops, does it mean that it's not going to work in the future? Could they game it? I'm sure they can. And especially now with AI, I mean, why the heck not? But as of right now, we are nowhere near close a cross on the Pi cycle top. You can see every other top for Bitcoin, it crossed, and we're not even close to the crossing territory. Like you can see, if I come all the way down here, come down to this like 0.7, 0.06, 0.07 area, that is where the chart turns yellow. We are nowhere even close to a top occurring, which tells me that the market would most likely have up to go from here. So that's indicator number 2. Again, both indicators suggesting we are still in a bull market, which brings us to indicator number 3, very reliable, the CBBI.info or colintalkscrypto.com CBBI historical chart. This thing pretty darn accurate. And generally, when the upward trend of this CBBI confidence breaks, and we have broken the 90% confidence level, that has indicated tops in all of the previous cycles. Now, this is based on 8 of the most reliable indicators like Pi cycle top indicator, Ruppel-Nuppel, Rodel ratio, Pell multiple, 2-year moving average, Trololo trend line, MVRV score, reserve risk, and Wooble top cap CBDD. So all of those things come into this trend line right here. As of right now, we are just in about 70 territory, have not breached the 90 area, which we have breached in previous bull markets. So all 3 of those suggesting no, not even close to a top, and there's likely a lot higher to go. But there's even more, and sometimes I feel like Ron Popeil when I say that, but yes, there is even more. Now, those are the 3 most reliable indicators looking at market structure, so maintaining the trend, looking at the Pi cycle top indicator, and looking at CBBI.info or colintalkscrypto.com, the CBBI historical chart. Those are the three most reliable for me, easiest to take a look at a glance. Now, there are some other ones that would definitely get me, or at least thinking about what's going on. The first one is if Jim Kramer hops on board. Like, I do remember him being pro-Bitcoin the last bull run at pretty much the top. And maybe I'm just making that up. But he's been against Bitcoin all the freaking time until it's the worst time to buy Bitcoin, and then he's pro-Bitcoin. So if he ever hops on board, especially if price is going up, like let's say it breaks 100,000 or 200,000, all of a sudden he's saying, buy, buy, buy. That's probably one of the times to sell. Now, another person that you definitely want to counter trade when it comes to Bitcoin is this dude right here, Tom Lee from Fundstrat. He has historically always been wrong when it comes to Bitcoin. His predictions are way off. At least this is my judgment when it comes to it. But if he says that Bitcoin is going to like $1 million or some outrageous thing once it hits $150,000 or $200,000, you can bet that's probably the top right there. Which brings us to another person who is useful to monitor their trades. So Charlie Lee sold the exact top in 2017, 2018. And he also told everybody that it was the top. Like, he tweeted, hey, it looks like things may be going down from here, or something along those lines. And guess what? It was the exact top. He sold the exact top. He sold all of his Litecoin at that time. Now, he was doing it so to kind of divest himself from Litecoin to make it more decentralized, but everybody took it as, you know, he just sells the top and yada, yada, yada. But if he does post anything on Twitter saying, hey, market's looking a little bit risky right now, it might be a good idea to deleverage yourself, something along those lines, that would probably be a good idea that it is at the top. Which brings us to probably the more reliable ones that you will see all over the place from everybody, your taxi driver, your neighbor, the person in the PTA who you just can't stand, all of these people. So you'll be seeing these next two things all over the place. So the first one would be people selling their house for Bitcoin. Now, my opinion right now would probably be a very good time to sell your house for Bitcoin. Nobody's talking about Bitcoin. Nobody cares about Bitcoin. Price is relatively low and comparing where it could go. But you don't hear about people selling their house for Bitcoin except for this guy who talks about how he sold his house at the perfect timing for it, you know. And you'll hear this one case of somebody selling at the perfect time, but at the market top, you hear all types of people selling their house for Bitcoin at the worst possible time. And while they do that, and while, I mean, you can argue that owning Bitcoin is better than owning a house in terms of relative growth for both of them, once you start seeing a lot of people talking about selling their house for Bitcoin, that's most likely a market top scenario. We're not seeing that yet right now, which brings us to the last one. And this one is a dead freaking giveaway that we have reached the top. Is literally every person you meet, when you ask them what they do for a living, they tell you they're a crypto trader or a Bitcoin trader or something like that. That is like, I have seen that happen 2 market tops in a row. And pretty much when that happens, get the F out, because things are about to collapse as soon as possible. You get guys getting crazy tattoos on themselves. And hey, that's when we all know that the top is in. So I hope that helped you. I personally don't think we're at a top. I don't think we're anywhere close to a top based on market structure, based on Pi Cycle top, based on CBI.info, and based on all of these things right here. I think there's still a lot longer to go. But, you know, the whole world economic system is kind of, I don't know, going all over the place at the moment, and we'll see how it all turns out. So that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, like the video, join us on Twitter at @TheCryptoLove. And of course, there's a playlist right up there you just might enjoy. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
Boom. Shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.